a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just across the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. Yeah, with the bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. And we'll move out of the shelter. Buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car.
Hello, this is Gina Waterman coming to you from Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and this is Confessions of a Special Needs Mom. Thanks for joining us today. I wanted to start off by just saying I hope you are finding, since the last time I spoke to you, some time for yourselves in this busy season with the holidays and rushing around, and it just seems like there's more and more stuff coming at us constantly. In this world of fast, more, now, I just hope you're taking some time to really get a little bit of pockets of quiet time. And so I'm going to start my show pretty much right now, every week, I think, with a little bit of quiet and a poem to introduce us to some reflection time, and then jump in and go over our show. So today I brought a candle to again remember those that we may be missing this holiday, that we no longer have with us, whether it be a parent, a sibling, a child, anyone you've lost. And also, if you're suffering from a heart broken by a relationship lost or broken, a divorce. Maybe this is the first time you're separated and you're looking down the barrel at a divorce. I'm really sorry if that is your situation right now, but anything that creates emotional pain and that feeling of loss, we're going to light the candle for this today. and just have a moment. So, if you were here last week, my show is about talking about topics and discussions around not just grief and loss, but the intersection of disability, grief, and faith. And I'll share with you a bit of my story as we go forward. And I hope that you will share some of your story on this show and give me some feedback, whether in the comments section if you're logging online today. I appreciate the comments. And let me know you're here. And if you want to shoot me a DM later or an email, I'm here for you. I'm at movingpastgrief@gmail.com. And you can follow me on my page on Facebook. It's Gina Waterman, host of Confessions of a Special Needs Mom. We're broadcasting live, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time every Tuesday. We'll be off next week because of the holidays, but we'll be back the following week. And if you want to log on, that's great. If you can't, and you're picking up the kids right now or running around doing some errands, whatever it is you're doing, you want to listen on the radio, you can do that as well on fbrn.us. You can listen on all the common streaming services, so Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, and so on. So to kick this week off too, I wanted just a couple of housekeeping items. I did last week thank a few people that gave me the opportunity to be a guest on their show. And this week I wanted to continue that because I left out a couple of people and I just like to give them a shout out. I wanted to thank Tom Bender of Heroes in Grief. He's been running a podcast out of Buffalo, New York, my neck of the woods. I went to school up in upstate New York, in Rochester, not too far. And it was about a year ago, actually, that we connected. And so you can look that up, look up his information. He's on all the common streaming services. He's got a YouTube site, actually, that you can find him, Heroes in Grief, and Facebook. And then Shelly Kino of #NoLimits. She also allowed me to tell my story in the very beginning. So I do appreciate that. And you'll find me if you Google it. And then lastly, one of my closest friends, Janet Chambers, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I just wanted to give her a shout out because she's been especially important to me and gave me the opportunity to speak to a wider audience first. So with her nonprofit that she was running, and I just wanted to say thank you. Today, as I said, we'll start with a poem. We're going to talk a little bit about holidays, remembrance, some of the myths about grief again, if you weren't here last week, and then focus a little bit on the heartbreak of relationships. And it doesn't always have to be romantic. I come from a space, obviously, the things that brought me to the grief recovery method, which I did speak about last week, but I'll mention it again. The grief recovery method is an evidence-based program that really leads you step by step. We walk alongside you as specialists to help you heal from emotional pain. That's basically it. And I came to this work, unfortunately, with a heavy heart and a lot of stuff packed in my backpack of stones just holding me down and holding me back that I just couldn't get out of. And the main things were the death of my father in 2015 and my divorce in shortly after, 2019. So it took a long time to get through that, but those two things overlapped in a huge way for me, and this is what brought me here. So I was going to talk about the prospect of divorce, or if you're in a divorce, or this is your first year holidays, celebrating the holidays without that person, but maybe even you have children together and you are sharing custody, or you are co-guardians, as we are for my son, who is 21 years old and on the spectrum. So all those things create emotions, right? And that emotional pain, if you're not dealing with it in a healthy way and working through it actively with someone, it's one thing to be aware of it. It's another, and to read lots of books. And I know most of my listeners, you guys out there, are very educated, smart, and you're reading through a lot of things and always trying to find the best next thing to try with your kids. That's great, and it's wonderful, and it has helped, and I continue to encourage you to do that. But when it comes to your own grief around the unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations, you're going to really need to dig deep. And the only way to do that is with professional help. Whether it's me, whether it's a counselor you've been working with, I would encourage you to work through this with them, the Grief Recovery Handbook. And it is on Amazon. I'm not here to sell books, but it's widely available. It's an evidence-based program. John James and Russell Friedman are the founders. Cole James is has taken over the Institute since his father passed away. And so it's available. It's here. Just pick it up on Amazon. Or if you are going to be working with me directly, give me a shout. The book is part of our program, so you get this when you do the work. It's a 7-week session typically. So griefrecoverymethod.com. We also have, just before I jump into the poetry, When Children Grieve book. It's also available out there, and if you look at the website, there's a pet loss in there as well. Pet loss workshop and book. So the poem that I want to share with you today is called Winter Without You. You should see it on the screen soon. And it is by Sarah Kay, our poet from New York City. We read one of hers last week. Her book, No Matter the Wreckage, is one of my favorites. And so I'm going to start with that today. Winter Without You. Tonight, Brooklyn was so cold, it pulled itself a little closer to Manhattan just to have something warm to lie next to. Earlier this week, I stacked a pile of laundry, fresh from the dryer, and dove in it like it was autumn leaves. Like I thought I could stop the fading, could keep the colors if I held them in my hands. Winter has arrived like the stray cat who patrols my neighborhood, annoyed by my foolish surprise at its sudden appearance. My building super rang my doorbell this afternoon and came in to change the knob on my heater. I greeted him in flannel pajamas, pants, and a sweatshirt. Oh, thank goodness, I laughed. The heat has been clanking all night, and it keeps me awake. He considered the pile of unfolded laundry and 1 p.m. pajamas. Just you? He asked. Just me. It is December, and nobody asked if I was ready. This poem resonated with me again. I always ask people what stood out to you, and if you were listening, you can look at this later online. If you were watching and following along with us, just think about it. Take a minute. What stood out to you? It is December, and nobody asked if I was ready. Just you, he asked. Just me. So I pulled this one because, again, if you're a mom, dad, grandparent, sibling, anyone caring for a person with a disability, a loved one with a disability this year, you might be depressed, you might be sad, you might be experiencing all of it. You might even have anger and feel like, what's wrong with me? I don't understand why I feel so off. Typically, all those things are pointing to grief and accumulated grief. The things that I've mentioned on this station, but also if you've ever heard me talk in person, I mention it all the time. If you don't deal with it, it's just going to stack up and it's going to come out in unhealthy ways. But this poem really, really hit me because there are times, there's ebbs and flows. Even it will hit you in waves. If you talk to anybody who's lost someone or anyone who's gone through a divorce or any other kind of loss, it could be a career loss. It could be, you and your boss were best friends and you lost that job and now you're looking for another job and there's some things that weren't said, unspoken, that you really wish you had said. You don't see this person anymore, or you may really miss your colleagues. It's that stuff, those conversations, those things that you weren't able to say, do maybe, to share with that individual, whether it's living or dead. Those are the things that cause us the most angst. And you will, unfortunately and unconsciously, take those with you into your next relationships. So just keep that in mind. This poem hit me. I wrote down the single mom or dad, divorce, end of a relationship, the widow, an adult child of a parent no longer here. all those things are kind of wrapped up in this, and I think that's what really hit me when I first read it. So, okay, I just wanted to kick us off with that, and there will be people that also they want to help you, your friends and people you work with, or anyone that loves you. Really, they see you in pain, they want to help you. But they're not professionals, and they're also not really equipped to, frankly, give you advice or help you. They just want to get you on the other side. And I've said this last week, and I'll say it again. They're well-meaning people. They might say well-meaning things. However, just keep in mind that, no, most of the myths that people try to help you out with, and I say they're myths because they will say things like, time will heal. Time heals all wounds. It doesn't. Time only heals when you're doing something within that time frame. And I would encourage each and every one of you listening, because every single person here, every single person listening, every single person on earth is experiencing some type of grief right now at 2:40 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas. So you can replace the loss and get another one. What do people say when your dog dies? Let's get another one, or let's go get another one for Jack. Let's go to the pet shop, let's go find another one. If you don't grieve properly, it will accumulate. It will cause you pain later on. So I encourage you to take the time and teach your children. If we're not teaching our children how to grieve, we're not doing our job as parents, in my opinion. We can help you with that. You should grieve alone. That's another myth. Isolating. It's very common for most of us when we're not feeling well. We don't really want to tell our friends or family or people in church as we're walking by and, hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm great. I'm great. Usually you can sense. I'm a good sensor of this, of course, but I think I have a high sensory to this, that I really can tell when someone's not giving me the truth. I won't always stop you if you know me well. We don't have this game, this song and dance. You just tell me how you're feeling, and I can handle it. I'm open to it, And there's a time and a place for these things, of course. I'm saying the people that know me really well, and we're friends. You've known I've been doing this since 2019, so I can handle that. When you say, well, it's not going that well, Gina. Do you have a minute? And then we talk and unload a little bit. I'm not saying unload it all on everybody, but unload a little bit. Be human. We like to say it's one thing to be strong, it's another to be human. And your best friends, your family, they told me I was strong. You're so strong, Gina. You can make it through this. You've done all this stuff before. Go, you'll be fine. But I was drowning. And some of you may be drowning. I don't want you to be in that state this season or at all this coming year. I want you to dig deep, do some of the work, and feel freer so that you can live. Particularly with our children. I'm not going to talk too much about that right this second, but just think about that. Everything that hits you, this is really important actually. For those of you that have children on the spectrum with autism, children, young adults, older adults, my son's 21. I've been through the stages and ages coming up, but he will be older, right? We're all getting older. If you have a child with Down syndrome, DIRC1A, any of the other genetic disorders, a mom or dad with dementia, any of that situation, particularly the persons with the disability of autism or Down syndrome, they're extremely attuned to us and our feelings and what's going on in us. Whether they are verbal or not, they pick up on everything. My son walked in the room right now and walked over to Angelo and said hello to him and tried to hug him because that's how he is. If you know my son, that's who he is. He would pick up on the vibes. So if Angelo's in a good mood, great. If he's not feeling so good, he's going to sense that. So I promise you, our kids are picking up on it. You can't hide this, typically. So I just want to remind you of that. If you're trying to keep it all together, which a lot of us are, and I get it, that's how we were taught. It's not always a healthy way, but that's what we were taught. Try to relearn these things, or sorry, rewire yourself to not necessarily dismiss it right away or just cover it up, because it's much healthier just to open up and say, you know what? Yeah, I am feeling sad. Yeah, I'm missing Grandpa this season. Yeah. Do you? Let's talk about it. Tell me, what are you thinking about? And then you'll be surprised if you open up first, they're going to open up next. And this isn't always the case with everybody in every stage or age, excuse me. But typically, yeah, they're going to open up. You'll be surprised. Pick the right setting, of course. You don't want to do this while you're rushing around and you just picked them up from school and they're in the back seat or the side of you and they don't want to talk much because they're still engaged in whatever was happening 5 minutes ago and they're texting their friends or whatever it is, or they're excited about tonight. But just pick a time. I suggest usually when you're at home, you're relaxed, might be a Saturday or Sunday, you're not rushing around, or if you do dinner together at least once or twice a week. I hope some people are out there doing that. I tend to, turn off everything and we're not watching TV. We're not catching up on the shows while we're eating. Let's just focus on each other and look into their eyes. So many of us don't do that anymore. I get it. I know we're busy. I know you have a deadline, but just make some time, carve some time out to be with your loved ones. And I'm not just talking about your kids. I'm talking about your partner, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is for you. Like, make time for each other. If you don't do it, who's going to? Right? And if you're not happy with something, find the time to, again, talk about things. Bring it up in a healthy way, of course. That brings me to the last one, keeping busy. So I have so many friends, and I love you guys, but you know me, I'm going to call you out on it, and I've done this myself. I'm busy. Oh, you see my calendar. I'm so busy. Let's get together next week. Let's get together next month. Let's get together after the holidays, Gina, because I can't do it now. I've got so much on my plate. Yeah, I get it. I get it. We are all busy, right? My tech here, Angelo, busy. He's got a daughter as well. So, we're all trying to get here, there, everywhere, get things done. However, busy is, again, going to distract you from not just the next thing, but from your relationships and from grieving. If you have had a loss recently, or even in the last year, I'm going to encourage you, because if this is the first Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever other holiday you are celebrating, I want you to take some time and let yourself grieve. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay. So that's huge in our society of keeping busy, and that includes working out, going to the gym. If you have extracurricular activities, if your son or daughter has extracurricular activities and you're just rushing around with your head cut off, or you've signed them up. I have others that overschedule their kids, thinking that they're doing a great job as a parent, and I'm not going to get into that here, but if you know me, you know my ideas on that as well. I don't overschedule my son. I ask him directly, and I encourage you to do this as well if you're not already. My speech therapist, OT, all the other therapists that he has had. Shout out to everybody out there that's taken care of my son or touched my son's life and my life. They encouraged me early on when he was not speaking as well. We were doing this with the iPad and Pro Loquo to go when he was very little, and because he didn't speak a word until he was 4 years old, to ask him, what does he want? How does he want to spend his time? As he's gotten older and more mature, middle school, high school, and now in the vocational program that he's in, which is kind of like the college years, right? I ask him, and I tell his dad, well, did you ask him? What does he want to do? If this is canceled, what would he like to do? So that is really important. Don't bury your feelings. Don't bury your feelings and just keep busy with all these things. Really be intentional about how you're spending your time. I know it's easier said than done. You're going to call me later and say, you know what, Gina, no, that's not easy in my position, in my job. And I'm going to say once again, If you don't prioritize it, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I was with my ex for 25 years, and we didn't get to that stage. I'll also without prioritizing some things, without working together as a team, and it just doesn't happen. I'm sorry, guys. So you can argue with me all you want, but if you don't make it a priority, it's going to hit you at some point right between the eyes. And somebody's going to say, you know what? I'm out. I'm out. You didn't prioritize this, or you didn't prioritize me, or you didn't prioritize our kid, or whatever it is. Like, you're doing this, and you're going off here, and we're living parallel lives. Because that's what will happen at some stage. Not for everybody. I'm speaking from my own experience here. Eventually, it's parallel lives. And, you know, people can bring up statistics as well. I just want to briefly address that because we'll have some people on here, I hope, in January to talk about their relationships, how they are keeping it together in a healthy way, what they are doing to make each other a priority in spite of the disability, in spite of how much time it takes. And some of these parents are, wow, they have 2 or 3, 4 kids, and one with a disability, a medically fragile child, and they still make time just for the 2 of them to get together without all the busyness and all the noise and all the stress of it all, just the 2 of them, right? So there's that. For those of us that don't do that, I'm telling you, it's just time. It's going to hit you squarely in the eyes. I don't wish this on anyone, by the way. It's terrible. It's horrible when you go through a separation and a divorce, especially when there's kids involved, but particularly with a disability. There's so many more layers of things that you need to make sure you're doing and addressing before you sign the dotted line and walk away from that. And again, it's a loss. You're not really walking away, guys. If that person is in your life, you're going to need to deal with them still, with child custody and whatever your arrangements are there, and handing over your son or daughter and making sure that they're taken care of and that their grief is handled somehow. All their emotions that come with that, because it's an adjustment. It's a big adjustment, and it doesn't just come at the beginning. My son was 7 when things started to really break down, really break down. I remember it clearly. I remember the house we were in, the one he was born in and brought home from the hospital in. I remember all the moves since then. I remember all the stress since then, all the things I was doing to take care of him and take on his emotions as well as mine. And I was in no shape. I meant those of you that know me and knew me during that time, no shape at all to really take on his grief as well. But I was doing it the best I could. So there's a lot of layers and complexity to that. That's for another show entirely. If you are facing a divorce, or you're separated right now and you're thinking about divorce and you have a special needs child, and you're looking at doing, guardianship and or special needs trust and all the other things that are recommended for our community, in our community, give me a shout separately. I'm happy to help you with whatever I can, because I feel strongly in that you need to be prepared. And I do not know all of it, but I had my own experience, and it took 2 years to do. And so I just want to throw that out there, that if you are experiencing that, you need to get some consultation with not only the lawyers and lawyers that know our community and what's involved, but also parents who've been through it. And not just hearsay. Please don't speak to anybody about online, publicly, in a public support group. I'll say they have a place, those support groups on Facebook, but they are not safe spaces to be posting all your business. And I'm guilty of posting too much in the past. I just want to remind you of that. Please don't do that. It's not in your best interest, especially if you're in the midst of it. It's just not in your best interest. Okay. I think we'll take a break here, and then we'll come back and talk about some more about heartbreak and relationships and all of that.
When it all goes crazy and the thrill is gone, the days get rainy and the nights get long. When you get that feeling you were born to lose, staring at your ceiling, thinking of your blues. When there's so much trouble that you wanna cry, the world has crumbled and you don't know why. When your hopes are fading and they can't be found, dreams will let you waiting, friends will let you down. Just remember I love you and it'll be alright. Just remember I love you more than I can say. Baby, then your blues will fade away. When you need a lover and you're down so low, you start to wonder but you never know. When it feels like sorrow is your only friend, knowing that tomorrow you'll feel this way again. When the blues come calling at the break of dawn, rain keeps falling but the rainbow's gone. When you feel like crying but the tears won't come, when your dreams are dying, when you're on the run, just remember I love you and it'll be alright. Just remember I love you more than I can say. Just remember I love you and it'll be alright. It'll be alright. It'll be
Okay, so if you've just joined us, I am Gina Waterman, and this is Confessions of a Special Needs Mom. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking about the intersection of disability, grief, and faith, and leaning in on our faith during these times of grief and stress and all the things, particularly this holiday season. We've lit a candle for those that are no longer with us. We had a little poetry reading, and I do want to make sure that I say and share with you, I promised you I would, not really tips on how to manage the holidays, but really what kind of some of the things that I do and I've built into my life over the past, it's longer than a decade really, but it's been predominantly this past decade because that's where I've really done the most of the work. So, and I say decade, as I said, my dad, who is the last surviving relative of mine in my family unit, it was my mom, my dad, and my brother Gary. He was the last one to go in 2015. So it's been a decade, unbelievably. Feels like yesterday, but yeah, it's here. I lost my brother, whose birthday is also during Thanksgiving. So this time of the year is hard for that reason. Just a reminder of him. He would have been, in his early 60s this year. And then my mom, I lost her way before Kenneth was born in 2002. So, yeah. I brought some pictures along to share with you, just some images of us at Christmas, me and my brother when we were little, and how much I love to. Right now, I have so many pictures, a lot of you probably do as well, that are not digital. They are in photo albums. This one in particular was in one of my dad's photo albums that
I had a huge box of so many things to go through when I was clearing out our house, our childhood home in New Jersey when he died. And so he had sent me actually a box of tons of photo albums that my mom put together because she was the one in charge of that. And this was one of those pictures. So I don't do it all the time, but I've been really trying to get disciplined about putting these in an order and or in a frame, the ones that really are meaningful to me. I have a family portrait of us in 1980, and I think I was in, I want to say 4th grade because it was El Paso. We went back to El Paso for a few years between Queens and New Jersey. My mother missed her family or something. I think that's what brought us back there. I have a lot of extended family, and you'll see another picture of my dad's side of the family, or my aunts and uncles, the Perales side, because he was one of 15. And in that picture, I brought this to show you because that was, again, a meaningful portrait on film, not digital, that shows him holding Canito as a not quite toddler. I don't remember how old he is there, but that was one of our first family reunions where my dad showed up, very proud, holding Canito. And we call him Canito in our family, Kenneth. So, and that picture is touching as well. If any of my cousins are watching, anybody that's watching in the family, you're going to see some of our aunts and uncles and your dad, mom that's no longer with us. And I just want to take a minute to mention that and say I'm really sorry. And if you're dealing, I know I don't know how you're feeling, but it's probably, again, touching to you. So that picture is meaningful. I think the third one I have is just one of my mom and my brother and I in the snow. I don't even know where this was taken. It was one of those, not Polaroids, but one of the Kodak early prints that has the date, the month, and the year listed on the side. It was 1970 something. So I don't know where it was taken. It looks beautiful, and there's snow, but my mom took one of my dad and the two of us, and then they reversed and took one of her. I liked this one the best, and that's why I'm showing it to you. So, pictures, memories, photo albums, photo frames. Frame your favorites and put them up. You don't have to keep them up all year. I like to rotate things in my house. I don't know about you guys. In my home office, I like to rotate things as well. We have paintings that we've done at Painting with a Twist. That's a nice thing to do with your son or daughter. That, again, most of them can handle that, and we're producing pieces of art that we've put up on the wall. And right now I have one of snowmen sliding or skiing and I put mine and Kenneth's up right by the banister, so it looks like they're skiing down the banister, and it just brings me joy. So these things can bring you joy. You hold it in your heart. They're touching. I encourage you to find what you need to bring you some joy this season. And if you're Christian and celebrating Advent, we just celebrated and lit the candle for joy this last Sunday. So, remembrance ornaments. Our church actually does an excellent job at this every year. We have a Christmas tree with ornaments and pens, Sharpies that you can write the name of your loved one or anything you want on there and hang it on the tree, and then take it home at Christmas time and put it on your own tree. So I encourage you to maybe have your kids do that if that's something that you'd like to do, or create one. All those rituals, anything that's going to create a new ritual for you. You might have a lot that you have as kids, and you feel like as adults, this is what we must do because we've always done this at Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah. We've always done it this way. It's a little tough, and it will take some time, but again, time with intention, to create new rituals and new ways of having that holiday without that loved one. Poetry, art, music. You could play their favorite music. I like to do this. I did this at my dad's. We had a gathering at my church in the chapel, a remembrance service for him because he was cremated, and we put his ashes in the lake a year later, back in New Jersey, which is where all my family is, in the lake, where I grew up. So, again, if you have something from that memorial service, I have saved the program and the pictures, and I actually wrote a poem. I didn't bring it with me today, but I did write a poem. I would need to frame it with the picture of my dad and I that I wrote and shared with my family and friends during that time frame. And I thought, I'll type it up and make it look real nice and, put the mat up and nice frame and all this stuff. I'm actually going to just leave it as it is, handwritten with scratches out, because that was at the moment. So I have that. That's something that I did personally. So whatever it is for you. I know a few of you have shared with me that this is the first year without your parents or without one parent. And it's really tough. I wish I could make it all go away. I wish I could just swipe a paintbrush and make it all go away. I really do. The pain and the agony and the waves of emotion that will come over you as you might be preparing a meal, you might be preparing your favorite dessert, whatever it is that you did with them, or the song comes on. I've been in the store recently. A song came on. Music touches me deeply, which is why I love this show and the opportunity to do this, because I program the whole show, including the music clips. Music touches me deeply, and some of the lyrics just hit me. There was a song that came on, and I had to stop. I was by myself, my grocery cart over to the side, and I think I just started crying. And what happens when we cry in public? Most people are uncomfortable, right? I'm not. If I see somebody that's upset, I might go over to them, offer them a tissue, or just, if I don't know them, obviously it's a little more of a nuanced thing to do this, but I will say, "Are you okay?" I won't touch them. I won't, interrupt them. But yeah, I had a moment, and again, I didn't expect anybody to come over, but I had a moment. I took a deep breath. I let it flow, a few tears. I had a tissue, thankfully, in my purse, and I just went about what I needed to do and got on with it. But those are the things that happen, and it's okay. Some people would freak out about that, or they would leave the store immediately. I know some people that just leave the store. They don't want to be seen crying in public. I've cried at red lights. I've cried pretty much anywhere. And we want to live in a world. Cole, I'll never forget Cole James saying something to the effect, either on his podcast or in our training, I wish we could come to live in a world where tears are just as common as laughter. Could you imagine? Tears are just as common as laughter. And it's true. We don't let anyone, all of us don't know what to do. And it's 2025. I think we need to learn some skills on what to do when someone's crying. And again, they're not your friend or their best friend, but you're in public spaces and someone starts to well up and tear up. So just be compassionate. Offer an ear. Most people will just be thankful that you stopped to say, "Are you okay?" Most people just want to be heard or acknowledged and seen that they're alive and they're here and they're feeling something. They might open up, they might not. That's up to them. But just be compassionate, understanding, and know that everybody's walking around with something. Everybody is. It's silly to think not. We're human beings. Everybody is walking around with something. No matter your religion, your race, your background, where you grew up, what language you speak, how many languages you speak, we're all human. We're all feeling something. And holidays tend to bring it out of us. holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, celebrations, someone's getting married, someone's having a baby shower. I want to acknowledge the women in the group, in the audience listening right now, who may have a history of miscarriage or a pregnancy that quickly the child didn't survive. God forbid. But there's that. I want to acknowledge that pain. It's often dismissed in our world, and it shouldn't be. These people are hurting inside. So if that's you, I'm sorry. I'm really, really deeply sorry. That is just unspeakable to me. I have not experienced that. And again, even if I had, I can't say I know what you feel. I don't. I just know it's not good. And I hope you're getting help. So just wanted to mention that as well. There's a lot of things that people dismiss, or they want to cover up, or they want to hide, or they want to go inside and just pull the covers over themselves. I know, I've been there. Just don't want to go anywhere. I don't feel like going out. I don't want to go to this party. I don't want people to ask me about the divorce. I don't want them to ask me, where is the blah, blah, blah? What's the status? What's going on? Some people are well-meaning. Others, they're just there to gossip and find out dish about it and with their other friends. They are. Not everybody is well-meaning. I was reminded about this over the weekend with a close friend of mine. Not everybody is well-meaning. I'm sorry. I hate that for all of us. I hate it for me. Not everybody's well-meaning, well-intentioned. But find your tribe, find your people, and you found me. I'm Gina Waterman, and this is Confessions of a Special Needs Mom, and I'm here for you. I'm here for all of it. If you have an idea again for this show, or you want to share your story on any of the topics I've shared today about disability, grief, or your faith and how you lead into your faith to get through times of need and despair, I want to hear from you if you're willing to share it, because we can help other people. We are not created in this world to live in isolation. We are not. God created us to live in community, and I'm using this platform as the community. So I want you to lean in on that and just know that we're here for you. I'm here for all of it. I appreciate you listening. We're going to take a short break and come back.
I don't know how this whole business started, of you thinking that I had been untrue. But if you think that we'd be better parted, it's gonna hurt me, but I break away from you. Well, just give me the sign, and I will be gone. Yeah.
Hey, it's Gina Waterman with Confessions of a Special Needs Mom. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Remember, it's every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I wanted to just wrap up today. I've been talking a lot about grief and loss of loved ones and remembrance, things that you can do to remember your loved ones that are no longer with us, and or if you're grieving a loss with respect to a separation, a divorce, a breakup, you've been with someone for several years and it's over, and you two have come to the conclusion that, yeah, it's over. We've done everything we can, and as the song said, this is why I played it, we'll be better off as friends. I will say, if you can be friends after something like that, that's more power to you. I have not been able to be friends with any of my exes really in that capacity, and I say that exes in terms of boyfriends and that kind of thing. I am friendly with my ex-husband now, who's now remarried, and we are keeping it where it needs to be for the benefit of my son, because that's what we need to do. And I've worked really hard on that and on myself so that I am making sure I'm stable and steady as far as emotionally, spiritually, all the things for my kiddo. Because even though he's 21, he's still got challenges and he's still, young emotionally and socially. So I need to consider all that. Well, I also want to say I love this music. You saw me probably singing to it. All of this stuff is like my era, and I tend to pick a lot of things from the 1970s, and I brought along a couple of my remembrance things. New York City, the Big Apple, because I grew up as a kid in Queens, and I started kindergarten in Queens. It was kind of, yeah. I have a lot of memories of also my dad working and bringing me into the city and bringing me up to the skyscraper and where he worked and looking out the windows and all the music, all the things back then. I'm going to date myself, but yeah, the radio was always playing their favorite music, and we picked up on that. So I'm a 1970s, those ballads, that I'm that kid. It just actually warms my heart when I hear these songs. So that's why I've picked some of these, and I will continue to, probably not just exclusively, but I pick from that era quite a bit. My mom, my brother. I opened this episode up with Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, which was one of my brother's favorite songs. He always had it playing in the car. He had mixtapes. He would create. So on the drive from Jersey into the city every day, or whenever we were going, we would listen to his music. He loved the Eurythmics. A lot of R&B. Anita Baker was always playing. A lot of good stuff. So I'll be bringing out some of those as well. And when I play them, it's like he's here with us. He really is. And Uncle Jay. My Uncle Jay, I talked about him last week. He's the whole reason we got to Queens. And David, if you're listening, my cousin, his son, he lives overseas in Amsterdam. He is a spitting image of my Uncle Jesse, Uncle Jay. And I have with me today the locket with the only two pictures I have of us together. And this is, again, gold for me. This is in my home, and it's actually, I pulled all these items, including something I made for my mom, off my altar that I made for Dia de los Muertos this year, which, again, just something that I do to help me to remember them, but also incorporate them in this season. And it's my way of grieving again the loss, even though it's been many, many years, decades since I lost my brother and Uncle Jay. He was 15 when he died. I was 15 when he passed. And so, yeah, it's just like yesterday. And you might be able to relate if you've lost anyone very close to you. The other quick thing I brought along, where I pulled off my shelf, and one of them's from my office, I think, and the other one should be in a safe. I don't know why I haven't put it back there, because I need to make sure it's protected. This one is a book, both from the old brick and mortar style bookstores.
So I picked these up several years ago. This is a gift to my dad. Why a Daughter Needs a Dad, 100 Reasons. It's got pictures and also some great quotes in here. Just to read a couple, one of them here. A daughter needs a dad to make the whole family complete, whole and complete. A daughter needs a dad to teach her to believe that she deserves to be treated well, to teach her to accept the differences in others, to teach her to weigh the consequences of her actions and make decisions accordingly. A daughter needs a dad who will never think she is too old to need him. And in the front, I have an inscription to my dad. Thank you for all your support over the years. Happy Father's Day. So this is a Father's Day gift I gave him. And at the bottom, he's written to me, to Janita. Thank you. I'm very proud to be your dad. I love you. So if you want to, I encourage you now to have these kinds of gifts, give these meaningful gifts. And this one is called Between You and Me and You, Grandpa, a few things I've been meaning to ask. These are probably available on Amazon. I hope they still make these because this one was fantastic. And they do it for grandpa, grandma, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, all of it. I gave this to him when Kenita was, I don't think it was when he was born, but there's an inscription in here. Let's see, because he wrote it. He wrote it like a third person, given to Javier Perales, grandpa, to Kenneth Winston Waterman on November 2nd, 2004 at 3 p.m. He even put the time. That's his handwriting in here. But this is fantastic because it gives you prompts and questions. You've probably seen these, and now they're all digital, and there is an app, I believe, that does this as well. And there's an app to save audio clips of your loved one speaking. If you've saved, I'm going to take a break here and say, if you've saved voicemails from anyone who you've lost, not uncommon, and I totally am with you. Like I would only encourage you to not lean on that too much and do the grief recovery work and the method to walk through that, to really say goodbye and complete that work. Because if you lean on voicemails and playing over and over again videos or music that just reminds you of that person, and all you're doing is just being on autopilot and cycling through that, that's not going to help you get through to the other side in a healthy way. That'll just keep you stuck. So I just want to make sure to note that too. But this one is fabulous, and it's his handwriting and all the things. All the things. I just feel like when I see it, read it, he didn't fill it all the way out. He didn't get past, I don't know, not even like 6 or 7 pages of it. But the prompts in here are things like, what do you remember most about being a kid? What are some of the favorite things you did as a child? What are your favorite memories of your father, of your mother? How long did you and my grandmom date? Any memorable experiences? Like, just beautiful, rich, juicy stuff. And he wrote in here about a time where he ran away from home. And grandma was like, I don't know. She was like, she knew where he was. He was just down at a friend's house or whatever for the day. But just little things like that you would never even think. Like he says, from 1949 to 1959, we lived in Buena Vista. I loved going to school. Later, I went through this 4th to 7th grade. I enjoyed riding my bicycle and to school and racing the school bus in traffic. When I was in 6th grade is when I almost drowned. My Mrs. James, my 6th grade teacher, never spanked me again. Like just stuff, like just, it's all him. It's all in here. And like I said, he's passed. My father, he died at 69, too young in my opinion, but he was extremely close to my son. And as I said, I walked my son through all the things. I included him in all the rituals, including going all the way back to New Jersey to put the ashes in the lake and have dinner and visit with all my dad's friends and his buddies, his golf buddies, the whole enchilada, as they say. He experienced it because he was close to him. I wasn't going to leave him behind, and we took it as he could understand it at his level. Meet your kids where they're at. Meet your people where they're at. whether they are in elementary school, middle, high school, or they're an older adult. He's much more mature now. He understands what death is. He understands what losing somebody is. He used to say when he was little, and we'd read some of the books, or like, storybooks at bedtime. There's one, I can't remember what the name of it was, but I'll find it. He said he used to say, "Take Grandpa from heaven." That was my son's way of saying he missed him and he wanted him back. And I would say, "Gosh, Kenneth, you know what?" And it touched me. And sometimes I would well up with emotion, and I'd say, "You know what? I wish we could. I miss him too. I miss him so much. He was wonderful. He was a wonderful grandpa. He was very involved, very hands-on, even though he lived 1,500 miles away. He got here for the significant things, and he was always on the phone, and he would always end the call with, "Take care of mijito. Whatever you do, Gina, take care of mijito." And I'd say, "Yeah, Dad, of course. Of course I'm taking care of him. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I just love him so much." And again, I think like a lot of that was, we had a different relationship. We were the only two survivors. My mom passed away, as I said, when I was 35, my brother when I was 19. So we had a different kind of relationship towards the end there, and it was just us. So yeah, he was always like, just take care of him no matter what happens. Make sure he's got what he needs, and what else does he need? What else can I do? I mean, he was there at UTD Callier at that preschool program that they had, observing in the observation deck. He met a bunch of my mom friends. If you're listening, UTD Callier moms, my first group of autism moms that I got close to, and my son was 4. Theirs was 3 going through this program. And I was like, "Oh, I got to get him in here. This is the best place for him. He really needs this. He needs this program." And I prayed and prayed, and I asked the director, and they're like, "Well, he's older. He's a year older than everybody else. We don't know. But we're going to try this. We have a speech therapist we can assign to this," and yada, yada. My dad was there. He was there for all of it. All of it. So, it's meaningful to me. I just wanted to share that quickly with you, because that, like, those things, those memories come welling up. And they're wonderful. They don't make me sad or like bawl out crying. I remember, and I just was grateful for the time we had together, because I thought I was going to lose him much earlier. There was a moment when he was in ICU, when he had a little health scare many years before. I thought he was a goner, and even the nurse said, "You need to get here. If you want to see him, you need to get here on a plane." I was like, "I'm in New Jersey. I'm in Texas." I can't think. I pulled over the side of the road, I remember, and Kenneth was in the kid's seat in the back of my car. Just a random Wednesday when I got the call from the hospital, and they're like, "You better get here." So I have a lot of those kind of moments, and I work through them. But, and even though we had a good, we had a relationship where we could share things with each other, even when I was separated from my then husband. And, Dad, we've known each other since college, my ex and I. So, my dad saw the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly. And he just said, "If this is what you need to do, like, I don't like this, and neither do you, but Kenneth has to have a happy mom. He's got to have a secure mom. So I'm going to back you up, whatever needs to be done." And yeah, those are the memories I have. I'm sharing that with you because I've worked through the method. I've worked through it. I'm still doing work on it. It's not a one and done. It's a maintenance thing. So griefrecoverymethod.com. You can look me up. If you know me well, you're not going to work with me directly, but I'll find somebody to match you up with. And if you're listening in Philly, Ohio, New Jersey, Toronto, shout out to you, my friends out there. You can find somebody to work with there too. And I have specialists that I met recently at the conference that I'd love to connect you with. They're fabulous. And they've been doing this work for a lot longer than I have even. But yeah, I just want to help get you to a place where you can share memories like the ones I just shared about your loved ones or about your divorce, because it just, sometimes it just is the best for everyone, and that includes your kids. because they are the ones we're talking about here. I talked a lot about today, us and taking care of ourselves, because that is what's going to matter and make a difference on your kids and loved ones with a disability. They feel everything. I know you guys are trying to hide it and keep it all together, and keep it tight. I encourage you, take a deep breath, let it loose, and do it with a professional. It's one thing, go on those girls' trips, go on the guys' trips, whatever you need to do to decompress and let out a little steam. But don't let that be the last thing you do. Get with a professional. Work through the program. If you have a counselor, work through the program with them. I highly encourage you. This is the end of 2025. We're going into 2026. I want you to be freer. I want you to offload some of that accumulated grief. You're going to feel the difference. It's amazing, and it's transformative. So just want to encourage you on that. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to show you, as we play our last song, Dan Fogelberg, another favorite of mine, a photo of my son and I at Christmas time, Advent season, lighting the candle at my church. What else to do? But that was significant, meaningful, and beautiful to me. And as I witnessed as every week I've been witnessing at church the lighting of the candles, I remember him and me doing that, the both of us doing that. So, just again, a little bit of joy in your life, whatever it is that you can do today. And if you can't tackle it, I get it. But do it during that winter break. Think about some of these things and pull some of those things that bring you joy. So I'll catch you next time. We're going to be out next week because of the holiday, but we'll be back in the studio on December 30th. We're not quite there yet. Right before the New Year's. December 30th, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment below. Let me know you're here.